Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Winging It. So I just started doing some resin lately, especially because I have some dried insects I'd like to do something with. But those little metal bezels you get from Amazon are just not big enough. I got plenty of wire, so I figured maybe I can make my own. I'm sure it's okay. So if you want to see how I did it, just stick around and I'll show you how. Okay, so I have a pair of wings here from a monarch. I just want to trace it out so I know approximate shape and size I need. Put these over to the side. I don't want to ruin them. Trying to think of where a bale would go. That's going to be a good size pendant, I think. I think a bale should go around there, and then I can tilt it either way to see, how it hangs. But let's get to shaping our bezel. Grab some 16 gauge square copper. I think this would work well for our bezel. I'm going to cut off a length. This happens to be 16 inches. Just shape it around my template here that I just made. Trying to keep my square wire level. About there, bend it up. That looks good. I don't want it to be overcrowded. I'm going to wrap my bale in 16 gauge half round. Ooh, and it looks pretty tarnished. I cut off about 2 feet of this. That should cover my bale. So I'm going to start wrapping my bale. I just kind of folded it over. Get this wrapping started. It's pretty tarnished, but I can polish that off later. My base wires are pretty sturdy where I can just twist them like this. I usually can't because they get all wonky on me. We have enough wraps on there. We're at about 1.5 inches. Way more half round than I needed. And I'm just going to bring these through and around to anchor. All right, let me see how this hangs. Bend it up a little bit. I'm going to flatten out my bezel by hammering it. I'm going to use my rawhide mallet and see how well that does. Flip it. Okay, I'm gonna need something to keep this level. And grab some extra foam to keep it level. Just need to cut out an area for my bezel. That should keep it somewhat level. This is resin tape. Tape this to the back of my pendant here. Cut the bale part out of it. I want to make sure it's stuck to my bezel all the way around, so we don't want it leaking. I have my UV lamp all set to go. This came with a kit, and I'll link the kit I purchased off Amazon down below. It came with 2 bottles of UV resin. We're going to work in layers. So let's get this first layer going. I know there's some crinkles in this tape, but we can fix the back later. It might leak a little by that bale. So I'm just going to lace them out, just a thin layer to totally coat the bottom. And then I'm going to zap it with UV for a little bit. Not too long. I don't want it totally cured, but maybe like 10-20 seconds. Take a tool and push it around. For bubbles, I'm going to take this lighter. Go through and pop the bubbles I see. My tape is not totally flat. I'm going to place the UV light over it. Count to 10 or so. And that's hot. We'll give it a minute. Okay, I did get some bubbles on there. Then I'm going to place my butterfly wings. First, let me get some UV resin to place this down on. Silicone mats are a wonderful thing to have as well. Okay, let me spread this resin out a little bit. Put some resin on first so I can hopefully squeeze out the bubbles. See, add some resin to the top as well. Just a little dollop. Need some resin in between them as well. That looks like a good placement. Put a top layer of resin. Just kind of fill in the bare spots. Before I go any further, I'm going to zap it a little bit. 60 seconds should be good. Okay, still have some layers to do. I'm going to turn it over and zap the back as well. Give it time to cool off. Oh shoot, I got a big air bubble there. See, I'm still learning. Put a thin layer of UV on the back, and I only cured it for like 10 seconds so it stays tacky. And I'm going to use this nail powder back here to cover it up. You can see it sticks really well because it's not fully cured. I'm hoping this will camouflage our bubble in the back. You can kind of see it from the front. That was done. Since I made a mess, see if I can take a very thin amount on the front. We don't want to totally obscure our butterfly wings. Let's get our cradle back. Let's get another layer on top of here. I want to get right to the edges. I don't want it to go over. At this point, I don't care if I cover up my copper. This time I won't forget my bubbles. All right, here we go. Okay, just finished. Give that a minute to cool. Go ahead and turn it over, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. All right, here it is all finished. I went through and did a couple more layers on either side so you can see how thick it is. You can see how it domes. The back has a little bit more purple than the front. It does disguise that bubble pretty well. Hopefully that's not too much purple shimmer. So I consider this a learning experience. I wish I could have made this area a little more pointy, maybe tightened up this area. But you know, that's alright. I've got more butterfly wings where this came from. Have you guys done resin before? Anybody who does, if you have some helpful advice, please let me know in the comments. Do you think you'll try resin after today? I'd like to know. I think it's a fun medium, but this is kind of big for a pendant. Can probably use it as a keychain. In that case, I probably should have done the bale a little differently, but you know, I'm still learning. Oh, I see a bubble right there. Another question for you. Do you guys know if this was a male or a female butterfly? If you know, let me know in the comments. So what'd you think of that video? Crazy, right? And thank you so much for sticking around. Welcome to the end of the video. The biggest way you can support my channel or anybody else's is to watch the videos all the way through. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out this next video that'll show up right here. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!